Bright is Netflix's latest attempt at busting into the movie scene, funding its own movie. And maybe because they went with David Ayer, it's just kind of a hack director. It's not a very good movie.
We wait for the cavalry.
We are the cavalry.
What is it? Hey! Hey! Freeze! That's a magic wand.
So it was directed by Max Landis, and it stars Will Smith and Joel Edgerton. And it's really kind of an urban fantasy version of his cop thrillers that David Ayer's done before. And, you know, if you're... I'm a fantasy fan. I really enjoy reading fantasy books. And there's a subgenre of fantasy called urban fantasy. And that's like when there's in the present day, and then you have a magical element. And usually in these books, almost always the magic element is underground. You know, because if you don't have it underground, you lose the urban part of it. You lose the part where it's our world that has magic in it. Like Harry Potter would be completely different if, well, the Muggle stuff would be different if everyone knew about the wizards. In the same way that if everyone knows about the magic, it changes the world. And I mean, some places, some other urban fantasies get around that by having like some sort of world-changing event that happened recently, and then that's different. You know, so you still have kind of what a world is, and now it's different now, but now magic is here. What Bright does though is just they don't worry about the exposition at all. Like every once in a while they give some exposition, like, oh, 2,000 years ago, the Dark Lord or the Orcs, all the races came together to fight him and defeated them. And it's like, so wait, you've had these orcs, elves, and all this stuff for at least 2,000 years, but the world is exactly the same as it is today? How would that work? That doesn't make sense. Because, I mean, like at one point in the movie, they even makes jokes like Will Smith called someone Shrek. It's like, would the Shrek happen in a world where orcs actually exist? I don't think so. I think they'd be something different. Like all the orcs would be calling, oh, that movie's racist or something. Like that wouldn't work. I guess speciest. I don't know. Like I mean, and the orc designs, they're okay. They just look all kind of the same with like this splotchy face and stuff. They're okay. But I mean, it's just an odd choice. Like to make your own urban fantasy and then not do any of the background. They not do any work actually creating it or having it make sense. Like the whole idea is that the big thing is that there are these magic wands. I guess if you get a bunch of them together, you could like try to reincarnate the Dark Lord or something. I don't know. They barely mention it. There's like a tiny bit of prophecy stuff, but it doesn't matter at all for the movie. Basically, the wand is a MacGuffin, and they have to get it, protect it, and from the elf that wants it and will kill anyone to get it, and they have to survive the night. And it's just, I don't know. I think the big problem is that a lot of the buddy cop movies, you know, they have strife between them, but then they kind of come together. But in this, they never kind of come together. Like they have like some moments, but the whole movie they kind of hate each other, and it's not a very satisfying movie to watch where the two main characters hate each other. And it's basically an escort mission where they have this other elf that has the wand and trying to get it away from the other, like, more powerful elf. And it's like, I don't know, it's just so simplistic. And it's so simplistic, but they didn't even try to, like, give a simple answer for things. It seems like, I mean, I don't know, it's, like, I don't know why they could have just maybe gone an urban fantasy novel and then made a book out of it instead of doing this. But I mean, it's like, yeah, Max Landis is kind of, he's kind of goofy, and David Ayer is kind of a hack. And but he's friends with Will Smith, so they wanted to make a movie, and they wanted to make. I mean, it's the one thing I've never seen a movie like this. And that's, I mean, with orc buddy cop urban fantasy. Well, I don't know. It's just pretty stupid. It's also a little weird, too, that the Orcs kind of seem to replace the Hispanic community. But like, you don't really see any other Hispanic people. And the gangs, they're more reminiscent of Hispanic gangs. They're not really reminiscent of black gangs. And it's a little odd that, that how they did that like that. But I mean, it's fine. It's just a little weird. And, it's just, everything with it is just so predictable. Like, I knew, like, oh, I bet that's going to happen with Will Smith. Like, yep, of course it happened. And it's like it's right, I don't know. Like, but the thing is, once it gets going and there's action and they're fighting the elves, and I mean, that is kind of fun. That's like, I don't hate the movie because, like, some of the stuff was fun. It makes me think, what a better filmmaker could have done with that $100 million from Netflix. It kind of makes me regret, wish that someone else, they'd thrown that at someone else, Because I don't know if, I would love to see an urban fantasy movie, like a real one, instead of just, like, a lot of times you get, like, really crap movies, like The Sorcerer's Apprentice or some shit like that. Like, I'd love to see a good one, but I don't know if we ever will. And this is not a good one, but it's not horrible. I give it, like, a 6 out of 10. Like a 5.7, 5.5 out of 10, something like that. It's not a good movie, but, I mean, it's on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, it's worth a watch. You can throw it on the background and kind of, like, some of the stuff is a little enjoyable. And it's just kind of like kind of stupid, but it could be entertaining. But thanks for watching. Check out other playlists around my head or subscribe to me over here. Thanks.